Join ForumIAS Academy, trusted by hundreds of toppers, including IAS Rank 1 Shruti Sharma.
Hi, my name is Krishnan. I'll be doing the Hindu news analysis for the day. These are the 5 articles that we'll be analyzing today, and finally, we'll see the previous year question and answers. So, the first topic is about Reserve Bank of India asking banks to shift from LIBOR. So, let us see what LIBOR is and why they have asked banks to shift from it. So, why is it in news? Because Reserve Bank of India has asked banks to transition away from LIBOR from July 1. So, what is LIBOR? LIBOR means London Interbank Offered Rate. So, what is this? It is the benchmark rate at which banks lend to and borrow from one another. Okay. So, if a bank needs money, it will go and ask another bank, right? For that, they'll need some interest rate. No, that is only LIBOR. So, and what you should know about it is unsecured. Unsecured short-term borrowing. Short-term borrowing means like 6 year, 6 months, less than 1 year. Like that they'll do. That is short-term borrowing. So it is administered by the IC benchmark, and it is calculated by the Intercontinental Exchange LIBOR panel. So this is what LIBOR is. So why RBI is taken this decision? Because the Financial Conduct Authority of UK, it has said that LIBOR shall not be representative of them. That is the Financial Conduct Authority UK. It is they are telling LIBOR will not be operative hereafter, and they will no longer be representative of FCA UK. So now let us see why they came to this conclusion. So for the last 10-15 years, fully scandals and crisis, this 2000 subprime crisis, 2008 financial crisis, you might have heard of it. Because of LIBOR only, the crisis became very strong, like that experts are telling. So that is why they have decided, because of repeated scandals, they're telling, okay, let us do away with LIBOR. So instead of LIBOR, what is coming into place? There's something called as SOFR. So this is the secured overnight financing rate. And what they'll do, they are going to replace this with US dollar based LIBOR. And this is based on the data from observable transaction in the marketplace. So whatever happening in the market, based on that data only, they have formed SOFR. So the New York Federation is the administration of SOFR. So this LIBOR is by UK, and SOFR by the New York Fed. Okay. And in India, who's going to do it? It is the Axis Bank. So this they might ask us a question. So which first private bank? They might tell Axis Bank or SBI like that, but Axis Bank will be the first to transition. Now let us see the difference between LIBOR and SOFR. This is bank to bank, but includes credit risk because unsecured, right? This is risk free and does not include credit risk at all. This is unsecured. This is secured with US treasuries. This is SOFR is transaction based, but LIBOR is based on bank submissions. And here transaction is 500 million US dollars for 3-month wholesale funding. Here $1 trillion of actual transaction in the overnight repo market. Here only 500 million, here 1 trillion. And this is forward looking. This is overnight backward. Here you can use in LIBOR you can use US dollars, pounds, euro, Japanese yen, but in SOFR you can use only US dollars. Now you should know something about MIBOR. What is MIBOR? MIBOR is Mumbai Interbank Offered Rate. So like LIBOR, MIBOR is the benchmark rate, but only for Indian rupee. So this is for banks that are within the India, and with using Indian national rupee, they will do overnight lending and borrowing. So that is MIBOR. So what has happened? What are the steps that have they taken? So banks and financial institutions, RBI has told them. So no longer you should base your transaction based on LIBOR or MIBOR. So they're telling you completely do the transition to SOFR. No longer do LIBOR and MIBOR, like that. RBI has advised banks and financial institutions. Let us move on to the next article. So this is a very interesting article. Again, RBI has issued some regulations. So RBI has been busy these days because a lot of things going on in the financial side. So they are using some. They are telling something called as greenwashing. Last year this was a prelims question. So we'll just see what it is. So what RBI has done is it has joined 12 other regulations to tackle greenwashing. So what is greenwashing? So generally, greenwashing means companies pretend that they are eco-friendly, but generally they'll not be eco-friendly. Their products will be very harmful, but they'll tell our product did not violate any environmental law. We did not cut down trees. We did not cut down forests. Like that, they'll mislead the consumers, society, government, and environmentalist. So why do companies do this? Because a lot of consumers these days, a lot of us are very concerned about the nature and environment, right? So if a product is harmful for the environment, we'll not buy it. For example, let's say uh, palm oil is the because of palm oil, there's large scale deforestation in tropical islands of Malaysia, Indonesia, like that. So what Western buyers are telling, they'll not buy palm oil. So consumers will boycott. For that only, people are doing greenwashing. So why? So I mean, for that these products will do greenwashing. So why are they doing this? They'll maintain a green brand image and maximize profit by taking advantage of the green movement. So consumers are also willing to pay extra for the sake of nature. So what are the effects? It drags consumers into harming the nature unknowingly, and if they keep doing this, it will create mistrust against all green companies. So finally, what will happen? Greenwashing firms will cause long-term damage, and at the same time, they'll keep increasing their consumer base also. So the environment also will keep getting harmed. So how to avoid greenwashing? So this is generally a guide. They're telling don't get allured by fancy images or influential advertisements. So we need to verify the initiative, and we should not trust irrelevant claims. We should do research. We should go through the labels. Consumers should know more about the ingredients. We should independently do fact checking using credible sources. So next is certification from the right companies. They should get labels, that is correct labels and all they should get from the company. I mean, correct labels the company should have, which they should have got from the concerned regulatory authority. So even if the product is hazardous, they must tell the truth. So we should ensure such a practice comes into reality. So next, we should not assume if a single brand is eco-friendly. We should not assume all brands are all products of the same brand are 100% eco-friendly, and we should be suspicious of free webinars or free products, because that is how we fall prey to these kind of companies, greenwashing companies. So what are the steps taken? RBI has joined the Global Financial Innovation Network. So why have they joined this? Because they want to participate in something called greenwashing tech sprint. So what they'll do, they'll develop a tool that could help regulators and the market more effectively to tackle the risk of greenwashing in financial services. So I hope you understood what greenwashing is. Now let us see what are the objectives of this greenwashing tech sprint. So the objective is to develop a tool that can help regulators and the market more effectively to tackle and reduce the risks of greenwashing in financial services. So firms will get an opportunity to work with experts, stakeholders, and people from across the globe to develop this tool. So this is what greenwashing tech sprint is about. I hope you understood this article. Now let us move on to the next topic. This topic is about Supreme Court's views on bail. That is default bail. Let us see what is happening. So why is this in news? Because suddenly Supreme Court has told decide on bails without relying on its own judgment of April 26. So let us see what is the April 26 judgment that they have given. So before that, you all should know a judgment of the Supreme Court is considered as the law of the land. So that is very important. So not even Supreme Court, even High Court, even if the High Court or Supreme Court says something, it becomes the law of the land. So how is this possible? Article 141 of the Constitution provides that the law declared by the Supreme Court shall be binding on all the courts within India. So if Supreme Court tells something, all the high courts should listen to it. It is binding on all high courts. So what is this April 26 judgment? This is the Ritu Chabaria versus Union of India case. So what the Supreme Court has said here? The Supreme Court said central agencies simply cannot deny the accused person their right to default bail. So see this, right to default bail. So Supreme Court is telling right to default bail cannot be denied continuously. How it is being denied continuously? Because what central agencies like ED, CBI doing, they are filing multiple supplementary charges and they are seeking renewed custody. So why is the Supreme Court telling it is the right to default bail? Because generally you know the saying, right? Bail is the norm, jail is the exception. So that should be followed. Like that the Supreme Court is telling. So what did the judgment say? Right to default bail. So where it is coming from? It is coming from section 167(2) of the CRPC. So see what they are telling. This is very important. They are telling bail is not merely statutory right, but also fundamental right. So this fundamental rights come from Article 29. Like that the Supreme Court has given judgment. So why do we know this? Why do we need this? Because this protects accused person from the unfettered and arbitrary power of the state. See, state is very powerful, right? Individual is weak, right, compared to the state. So Constitution gave this power to citizens. Why? Because it wanted to stop the unfettered and arbitrary power of the state. So section 167(2) of the CRPC, what it is telling? So an accused is entitled to default bail even if the investigation agencies fail to file a final charge sheet within 60 days. Okay, even if the agencies do not file charge sheet within 60 days, default bail should be there. And for certain categories, this can be extended to 90 days. So what they are trying to tell is, whatever the nature of offense, give bail, like that they are telling. So what happened in this April judgment? So this judgment was delivered by division bench, that is two judges, Justice Krishna Murari. So what happened? Ritu Chaberia, her husband has been arrested in a corruption case. So she filed case. So what happened? They had arrested him last year and got his custody renewed multiple times, filing supplementary charges. So he was never released on default bail. So what happened? This enforcement directorate, because of the April 26 judgment that the right to default bail is a right. What enforcement directorate did is they again went to the Supreme Court using the recall petition. What is recall petition? Recall petition means it is like review petition only, but recall petition is they'll ask them to re-examine the case again. So that is recall petition. So why did they do this? Because what happened in Delhi High Court, Manpreet Singh Talwar, this person was also arrested in Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Earlier, the person was arrested for Corruption Act. So what happened? This person had also used the Supreme Court judgment and got bail. So this recall petition was filed, and the Enforcement Directorate argued that the April 26 judgment would not apply to special laws like the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So the Chief Justice of India, Chandrachud, he understood it. So he's told the lower level courts, that is high courts, to defer any decision on the default bail plea based on Ritu Chaberia judgment. So he's telling right now, you do not give bail pleas based on Ritu Chaberia judgment. So, but what senior advocate like Siddharth Luthra, they thought the Chief Justice were telling not to give bail at all. So he's telling you're curtailing the rights of under trial prisoners seeking default bail. But Chief Justice later said, no, I am not telling don't give bail at all. I'm just telling just don't follow the May 1 order. But independent of the Ritu Chaberia judgment, if you want to give bail, you can give bail, but don't just follow the Ritu Chaberia judgment as of now. Like that the Chief Justice has said. Let us move on to the next article. So why is this in news? Because Center has come up with a new Model Prisons Act. So we'll see it. Why is in news? Because Home Affairs Model Prisons Act. So why are they doing this? Because in British era only we had prison laws. We want to change the prison administration and we should focus on reformation and rehabilitation of inmates. So we want to reform prisons and prisoners. So we are coming with a new Model Prisons Act. So what are the salient features of the Model Act? Punishment for there are provisions for punishment for prisoners and jail staff if they use prohibited items like mobile phones inside the jail. Establishment and management of high security jails. Open jail, that is, you know what open jail, right? If an inmate is very good, he'll be put in an open jail, and in the morning he can go out and he can come in the evening. This is generally given for small offenders who have good conduct. They'll be put in open jail. Next, it has provisions for protecting the society from criminal activities or hardened criminals and habitual offenders. So few people will be like that. From them, we should be protected, right? So it has got provisions for that also. And next, it has provisions for legal aid to prisoners, parole, furlough, and premature release to incentivize good conduct. So if a person is very good, they will have premature release. So even Sanjay Dutt had that kind of release, right? And furlough is also like parole only. So next, what you should know is uh, prison and prisoners are state subject. So in right now in India, Prisons Act 1894 is a pre-independence era act, is 130 years old, and we have two other laws: Prison Act 1900 and Transfer of Prisoners Act 1950. So states are using only these act to regulate their prison activities, but the Home Ministry wants to have a new document which will serve as a guiding document for the states. Why Ministry of Home Affairs want to give a new law is because there are several lacunae. Lacunae mean gaps. So in the existing prison acts, they are telling there are a lot of problems. So first, what they are telling, there is conspicuous omission. That is deliberately you can see that this prison acts are not focusing on correcting the inmates. So prisoners should be corrected, right? They should be rehabilitated, right? These acts are not focusing on those things. So existing acts just focus on keeping criminals in custody and enforcement of discipline and order in prisons. There is no provision for reform or rehabilitation. So if a prisoner is doing something bad, is in a very bad state, so he needs rehabilitation, right? These acts are not focusing on that. So the MHA Home Affairs is coming with Model Prisons Act 2023. So what this act will do? This act will address many gaps. So what are the many gaps? The use of technology in prison management, how to do parole, furlough, remission to prisoners. So if they are good and they are good, if they have good conduct, they'll have remission. So special provision for women and transgenders, physical and well-being of prisoners, that is very important, right? Because they'll be away from their friends and family. So physical and mental well-being of prisoners. And finally, we need to focus on the reformation and rehabilitation of inmates. So all these things are necessary, right? So that is why they are coming with this Model Prisons Act. So, so what else the Home Affairs is doing? Uh, Prisons Act 1984, Prisoners Act 1900, Transfer of Prisoners Act. All these are being reviewed by Ministry of Home Affairs. So they have assimilated all three acts and they have brought it under Model Prisons Act 2023. So they're telling state governments and union territory administration can benefit from Model Prisons Act 2023. You adopt it in your state, like that they're telling. So this act will focus on security assessment, how to segregate prisoners, because uh, one person might have gone into the prison doing a very small crime, and if he's put with habitual offenders, what will happen? He'll also become very bad, right? So you should know how to segregate prisoners, how to do sentence planning, how to do grievance redressal, prison development, how to change attitude towards prisoners, and separate accommodation for women prisoners and transgenders. So all these things the act will take into account. So as I said earlier, they'll focus on using of technology only. If you use technology, what will happen? Transparency in administration, video conferencing with courts. If the prisoner is inmate is unwell, we can do video conferencing with the courts, and scientific and technological interventions in prisons. And prisons today are not looked as places of retributive deterrence. So retributive deterrence means if you go to prison, you will also be punished. Like that, it should not be there. So how prison should be reformative and correctional institutions, and what you should do there. They should be transformed and they should be rehabilitated back into law abiding citizens. So even if they are bad, if they go to the prison and come back, they should be reformed. So this is why this model prisons act has come into place, because prisoners, they are also human beings only, so they also should be treated properly. So this is what this article is about. Now, let us move on to the next topic. This topic talks about how the central government has reduced the money that is spent for welfare schemes over the years. So, let us see what those schemes are. So, when the union budget was laid before the nation, it was criticized. Why was it criticized? Because there was decline in allocation for welfare schemes in real terms. So, this is post COVID-19 recovery time, right? So, welfare spending should be high, but it went down. So even last year, social spending was ignored because government wanted to spend more on capital expenditure. So let us see what happened to this Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0 scheme. So this addresses child malnutrition and hunger, right? So this Anganwadi program, that is the ICDS scheme, was merged with Poshan Abhiyan. So, and this is a nutrition scheme for adolescent girls. So what happened in allocation from 0.13% of GDP in 2014-15, it went down to 0.07. So almost half of its original allocation. Next, see what does the NFHS 5 say? Anemic people, underweight, stunted children, they are very high in India. So 67, 32, 36. It is the worst in the world. So for that only we have midday meal scheme. It covers 12 crore children. Why we are doing this scheme? Because this scheme has led to improvement in class attendance. Children are starting to come to school, and because of good nutrition, learning outcomes have improved and stunting has reduced in children. But what happened in budget allocation? Midday meal schemes allocation was decreased by 50% as a share of GDP. That is, from 0.08 percentage, it has come down to 0.04 percentage. Now people are asking for breakfast also. Midday meal is only in the noon time they will give meals, right? That is midday meal scheme. So now people are telling bring food for breakfast also. But Ministry of Finance rejected it, saying it is a right now we do not have enough funds to do it. But see what Tamil Nadu has done. They have started giving breakfast in corporation schools, that is government run schools. They have started giving breakfast. So in Tamil Nadu, this is a huge success because children's attendance have increased. Parents are enrolling their children in corporation school. There's a huge queue in corporation schools to enroll children, and learning outcomes have improved in Tamil Nadu because of bringing breakfast scheme. So a lot of wonders happening in Tamil Nadu. So people are asking that should be this scheme should come in other states also, but Ministry of Finance is telling right now we do not have enough funds for it. Next we'll see about the Matru Vandana Yojana. You all know about it. It's a maternity benefit scheme, and if you register your fetus, you will get conditional transfer also every trimester up to 5,000 rupees. So what does the National Food Security Act say? The scheme needs around 40,000 crore, but the budget for Matru Vandana Yojana has not crossed 3,000 crore also. So let us see how the government is spending for working class. So MGNREGA and National Food Security Act, their share in allocation also has gone down. So MGNREGA, 100 days of employment every rural household. NFSA, subsidized grains to 80 crore people. So these two schemes are very, very important, but even their allocation has gone down. So see here, share of GDP from 0.26, it has gone down to 0.20. Same thing for Food Security Act, from 0.94 it has become 0.65. But what happened? Manrega and PDS system only during the COVID-19 pandemic, this only saved India. So in 2021 there was record demand for both the schemes. 8.55 crore households got job because of Manrega. So in the PDS thing, PDS grain offtake was 93 million tons. So this was 2.73 percentage of GDP, and Manrega was 0.56 percentage of GDP. But what has happened from since 2021, both these allocations are declining rapidly. See, you all know John Dries, right? Economist, French economist. He is in India. So he's telling declining, reducing the allocation is very wrong, because real wages of casual workers grew at less than 1%. So the wages of working class is not growing at all. So if you cut down these things, what will happen? Working class will not get anything. Next, we'll see about National Social Assistance Program. So what will happen in this scheme? What they'll do? They'll give pensions to old age people, widows, disabled people. If they are below poverty line, they'll get monetary assistance. What even this allocation is reduced from 0.06, it has come down to 0.03. So this cut is against what 60 odd economists, close to 60 economists are telling don't do all these cuts. But still the government has gone on and it has done the cuts. And you see, only 200 rupees is given in National Social Assistance Program, and for elderly people 300 rupees is given. See, when did they start this? They started this in 2006 itself. 200 rupees was given in 2006. Till now they have not changed after 17 years. So, and healthcare, but healthcare increased in the NDA government from 0.25 to 0.30 it went. So this is good only, but in post-COVID world, you should have spent more, like that experts are telling. So why is this not enough? Because the World Children Report by UNICEF, what it is telling, lowest vaccination rates in South Asia is in India only. That is, a lot of children are not getting vaccinated at all by the government. So because of that, lot of diseases are there. Out of pocket expenditure, that is, we put our own money to get medical treatment. This is very higher than what is happening in other countries. So if they put a lot of money from their pocket for education, what will happen? Even middle class people will become very poor. No, that is why all these are pushing people into poverty. So see this data, the GDP remains stable for midday meal scheme, food subsidy and healthcare, but the GDP tripled for ICDS, doubled for NSAP, and increased by 45% for school education. When did this all happen? This doubling, tripling, all this happened between 2004-5 to 2014-15. But after the NDA government came, it has gone down by 1.32%. So, but again, the government has done few things, good things. What it has done, access to cooking fuel has been made to women. Electricity is there. Financial inclusion of women. All these all these are improving since 2014. But the authors are telling these things are done to get electoral gains, because this type of welfareism is very easy to give, because these are tangible goods and services. The government can easily deliver it, monitor it, and everything, and easily you can attribute to the central government. But this traditional government services such as primary education, child nutrition and all, it is very difficult for the central government to do. But the central government, even though it is difficult, the central government should focus on these things only. So initially what has happened during the pandemic year, all this was raised to 4.3%, but it is now just back to 1.5%. So what does the World Social Protection Report of the International Labour Organization say? Only 24.8% of Indians are under at least one social security scheme, against the Asia Pacific average of 44%. So that is why you see India's HDI rank is 132, and in malnutrition level and all, it is very bad. So they are telling, if you want India to be a superpower, you should have, India cannot become a superpower with uneducated and unhealthy population, right? So the authors are telling the government should focus more on social spending. So this is what this article is about. So we'll see this in medieval India, Mahatara and Pattalika. So in ancient India and medieval India, questions you will have terms only. So you should in the NCRTs, whatever terms that are there, you should take it and by heart. So Mahatara and Pattalika are village headmen. Lichens are symbiotic association of bee, algae and fungi. So in Himalayas, what and all will be there? You see the option: oak, rhododendron, sandalwood, all these things you may not be sure, but once you see sandalwoods, where you will get? You will get sandalwoods only in the dry deciduous forests of peninsular India. So once you eliminate 3, the answer will just be 1 and 2. What does venture capital mean? Very easy question, sitter. This is long-term startup capital provided to new entrepreneurs. So these are all very easy questions. That's all for the day. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, you can share it among your friends, like and subscribe our channel. You can also follow us on Instagram, Telegram, and Facebook. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you again tomorrow.